Welcome back to At One Go Financial Podcast, everybody. Today we're going deep on financial literacy.
Yeah, diving into a really interesting article by F.C. Hong.
From atOneGoFinancial.com.
Exactly, his website.
And, we talk a lot about money here, obviously.
We do.
But we don't often talk about the kind of meta skill of personal finance.
Right, like the framework.
Yeah, and this is really what this article is all about. It's about how understanding how money works can really help you solve your money problems and build long-term wealth.
I like that, long-term wealth.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not about getting rich quick.
No.
It's not about winning the lottery.
Yep.
It's about understanding how to manage your finances in a way that sets you up for success over the long term.
Yeah, it's like the saying goes, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
That's a good one.
So we're going to look at how this one skill of financial literacy can help you with all different kinds of things. Tackling debt, saving effectively, investing wisely, understanding credit, protecting yourself from risks. All of this stuff is tied into this.
That's powerful because a lot of times people think, oh, well, I just need to make more money.
Right.
And that's definitely part of the equation.
Sure.
But if you don't know how to manage the money that you do have, you're not going to get very far.
Right. You'll just have more expensive problems.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
So let's dig into this. What is financial literacy anyway?
Well, it's more than just knowing how to balance your checkbook.
Right.
Or clip coupons.
Oh, that's just good too.
It's good. It's helpful.
Sure.
But it's really about having a comprehensive understanding of how money works.
Okay.
So that includes things like budgeting,
Right.
debt management, investing,
Yep.
risk management.
Okay, so that's kind of knowing what to do with your money once you have it.
Exactly. And it's also about understanding the financial landscape. Like what are interest rates? What's inflation? What are the different types of investments available?
Right.
So you can make informed decisions about your money.
Got it.
And the thing is, it doesn't matter how much money you make.
Right.
Financial literacy is important for everyone.
So I think one of the big takeaways from this article is that a lot of times money problems aren't actually about a lack of money.
That's true. That's true.
It's about a lack of financial literacy.
100%.
Right. So, for example, you could be earning a really good income, but if you don't know how to budget, if you're spending more than you're earning,
You're in trouble.
you're going to end up in debt no matter how much money you have.
Absolutely. And it happens all the time.
Right.
I would see it with people who win the lottery.
Right.
Or professional athletes.
Yep.
People who come to a lot of money very quickly.
Yep.
But they don't have the financial literacy to manage it, and so they end up losing it all.
Yeah, or you look at someone who earns a really modest income, but they're really good at managing their money. They're financially literate.
Right.
They can still build wealth over time.
Yeah, they can build a secure financial future for themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if they're not making a ton of money.
Right, and so that really speaks to the power of this skill.
It does.
Of financial literacy.
And I think the biggest takeaway from this article is that financial literacy is the key to solving most money problems.
Okay.
Because it gives you the tools and the knowledge to make informed decisions about your money.
So let's get into some of these specific skills that kind of make up financial literacy.
Sure.
And the article spends quite a bit of time talking about budgeting.
Right. It is the foundation.
And why is that? Why is budgeting so important?
Well, budgeting is basically a plan for your money.
Okay.
It helps you track your income and expenses so you can see where your money is going.
Yeah.
And then you can make informed decisions about how you want to spend and save your money.
Right. And that's something a lot of people don't do.
They don't?
They don't know where their money's going. They
Right.
just kind of spend it until it's gone.
And then they wonder where it all went.
Exactly.
So budgeting is really about taking control of your finances.
Yep.
It's about being intentional with your money.
So how do you actually go about creating a budget? I mean, what are some tips?
Well, there are a lot of different methods out there.
Sure.
You can use a spreadsheet.
Yep.
You can use an app.
Uh-huh.
There's all sorts of budgeting software available these days.
Right.
But really the most important thing is to find a system that works for you
Okay.
and that you'll actually stick to.
Right. So it's about finding something that's sustainable.
Exactly.
Okay.
And, one popular method is the 50-30-20 rule.
What's that?
So this is a simple guideline for allocating your after-tax income.
Okay.
So 50% goes towards your needs, things like housing,
Yep.
food,
Yep.
transportation.
Okay.
30% goes towards your wants.
Okay.
So things like entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
dining out,
Yep.
travel,
Okay.
and then 20% goes towards your savings and debt repayment.
Okay.
So it's a really simple framework, but it can be really helpful for people who are just starting out with budgeting.
Yeah. It gives you kind of a starting point.
Exactly.
And then you can adjust it based on your own needs.
Exactly. You can tailor it.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, budgeting can seem really restrictive to a lot of people.
Right.
Like you're limiting yourself.
Right. It's like diet for your money.
I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't have any fun.
But it's actually the opposite.
Okay.
Budgeting is about giving you more freedom.
Okay.
Because when you know where your money's going, you can make conscious choices about how you want to spend it.
Got it.
So you can spend money on the things that are important to you
Uh-huh.
and save money on the things that aren't.
Right.
And that gives you more freedom in the long run.
So it's about having a plan
It is.
rather than just kind of winging it.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So let's move on to another big topic, which is debt, which a lot of people struggle with.
Oh, yeah.
And the article makes a really interesting distinction between good debt and bad debt.
It does.
What's that all about?
Okay, so good debt is basically debt that's used to invest in something that will appreciate in value over time.
Okay.
So like a mortgage on a house
Right.
or a student loan.
Okay.
The idea is that you're taking on debt to invest in your future
Right.
and that the return on your investment will be greater than the cost of the debt.
So the value of the thing you're investing in is going up faster than the interest you're paying on the debt.
Exactly.
Okay.
Bad debt, on the other hand,
Yeah.
is debt that's used to buy things that will depreciate in value over time.
Okay, so things that are going down in value.
Exactly.
Okay, like what?
So like a car loan
Right.
or credit card debt.
Okay.
So these are things that you're buying, but they're not going to be worth more in the future.
Got it.
In fact, they're going to be worth less.
Right, so you're paying interest on something that's becoming less valuable.
Exactly.
Okay.
Which is not a good situation to be in.
Got it.
Yeah.
So how do you manage debt? Whether it's good debt or bad debt, you're still paying interest on it.
Yeah, well, the first step is to really understand your debt.
Okay.
You know, how much do you owe? What are the interest rates? What are the minimum payments?
Okay.
Once you have a clear picture of your debt, then you can start to develop a plan to pay it off.
And there are different ways to pay off debt, right?
There are. One popular method is the debt snowball method.
I've heard of that.
So with this method, you focus on paying off your smallest debts first, regardless of the interest rate.
Okay.
The idea is that this gives you some quick wins,
Right.
which can help you stay motivated and on track.
Okay.
Another popular method is the debt avalanche method.
What's that one?
So with this method, you focus on paying off your debts with the highest interest rates first.
Okay.
So this can save you more money on interest in the long run.
Okay.
But it can be a little bit more challenging because you're not seeing those quick wins as quickly.
Right. So the snowball is more psychological.
Yeah.
And the avalanche is more mathematical.
It is.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, there's no right or wrong answer.
Okay.
It really depends on your own individual situation
Okay.
and your personality type.
And financial literacy can kind of help you figure out which method is best for you.
Exactly. It gives you the knowledge to make an informed decision.
Cool. So let's talk about saving, which is obviously a really important part of financial literacy.
Yes.
And this article stresses the importance of saving with purpose.
Yeah. What's the point of saving if you don't know what you're saving for?
Right.
You know, so the article talks about setting different types of savings goals.
Okay.
So like an emergency fund,
Right.
a short-term goal,
Uh-huh.
a long-term goal.
Okay, so give me an example of each of those.
Sure. So an emergency fund is basically 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses
Okay.
that you have set aside in case of an emergency.
Right. So if you lose your job
Exactly.
or you have a medical emergency,
Yeah.
you have some money to fall back
They're
on.
not going to go into debt.
Right.
So that's really important.
Okay.
A short-term goal could be something like saving for a vacation
Uh-huh.
or a down payment on a car
Okay.
or a new computer.
Okay. So things that you're going to need in the near future.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then a long-term goal could be something like saving for retirement
Okay.
or a down payment on a house
Uh-huh.
or your kid's college education.
Okay. So big things that are going to take a long time to save for.
Exactly.
And when you have a goal, it gives you something to work towards.
It does.
It makes it easier to stay motivated to save.
And it makes it easier to make decisions about your spending.
Right, because you're like, well, do I want this thing or do I want to reach my goal?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So let's move on to investing, which can be kind of a scary topic for a lot of people.
It can be.
But This article kind of makes the case that investing isn't just for rich people.
No, it's not.
And that it's not as risky as a lot of people think.
As long as you're doing it right.
Right. So how do you do it right?
Well, the first step is to educate yourself.
Okay.
There's a lot of information out there about investing.
Right.
There are books.
Yep.
There are websites.
Mm-hmm.
There are courses.
Yep.
So take some time to learn about the basics of investing.
Okay.
Before you start putting your money into anything.
Okay. Sounds good. What kind of things should people be learning about?
Yeah.
What are some of the basics?
One important concept is risk.
Okay.
So every investment carries some level of risk.
Right.
And the higher the potential return, the higher the risk is likely to be.
Okay, so risk and reward are tied together.
They are.
Okay.
So it's important to understand your own risk tolerance.
Okay.
How much risk are you comfortable taking on?
Got it.
And then another important concept is diversification.
Diversification.
So diversification is basically spreading your investments across different asset classes.
Okay, like what?
So like stocks, bonds,
Yeah. Mm.
real estate.
Okay.
So you're not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
And then if one investment does poorly, you're not going to lose all your money.
Right, because hopefully the other ones are doing better.
Exactly.
Okay. So yeah, those are some of the basics of investing.
Another important thing to remember is that investing is a long-term game.
Okay.
You're not going to get rich quick.
Right.
It takes time to build wealth through investing.
So patience is key.
Patience is key.
Okay. So we've talked about budgeting, we've talked about debt, we've talked about saving and investing.
Yes.
Another big piece of financial literacy is understanding credit.
Your credit score is really important.
It is. And a lot of people don't even really know what it is.
It's true.
Or how it works.
So your credit score is basically a 3-digit number.
Okay.
That represents your credit worthiness.
Okay.
So it tells lenders how likely you are to repay a loan.
Got it.
And it's based on your credit history.
Okay.
So things like your payment history, how much debt you have,
Yep.
how long you've had credit.
Okay.
All of those things factor into your credit score.
So it's like a financial report card.
It is.
Okay.
And the higher your score, the better your credit worthiness.
So the easier it is to get loans and stuff?
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's not just about getting loans, though.
Oh, really? What else is it important for?
Your credit score can affect a lot of different things.
Oh, okay.
So like your insurance rates, your ability to rent an apartment.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, even some employers will check your credit score when you're applying for a job.
Seriously?
Yeah, so it's really important to have a good credit score.
So how do you build good credit?
Well, the most important thing is to pay your bills on time.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's the biggest factor in your credit score. You also want to keep your credit utilization low.
What does that mean?
So that means that you're not using a lot of your available credit.
Okay.
So, for example, if you have a credit card with a $10,000 limit, you don't want to be carrying a balance of $9,000 every month.
Okay.
You want to keep it below 30% of your limit.
Okay.
So ideally below $3,000.
Got it.
And then you also want to avoid opening too many new accounts at once.
Okay.
Because that can hurt your credit score as well.
Okay. So be careful with credit.
Exactly.
Use it wisely.
Use it wisely.
Okay. Let's see. We've talked about budgeting, debt, saving, investing, credit.
Right.
What about insurance?
Insurance is another really important part of financial literacy.
It is.
But a lot of people overlook it.
Right.
They think, it's just another expense. But insurance is really about protecting yourself from financial risk.
Okay.
So, for example, if you have health insurance and you get sick,
Yep.
your insurance will help cover the cost of your medical bills.
Okay.
So you're not going to be saddled with a huge amount of debt.
Right.
Or if you have car insurance and you get into an accident,
yeah,
your insurance will help cover the cost of the damages.
Okay.
So you're not going to have to pay for everything out of pocket.
Right. So it's about mitigating risk.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they're all different types of insurance.
Okay.
So it's important to understand the different types of insurance available and to make sure that you have the coverage that you need.
So what are some of the different types of insurance people should be aware of?
Well, there's health insurance.
Right.
Car insurance.
Yeah.
Homeowners or renters insurance.
Okay.
Life insurance.
Yep.
Disability insurance.
Okay.
And then there are all sorts of other specialized types of insurance.
Okay.
But those are some of the basics.
And how do you know what kind of insurance to get?
Well, it depends on your individual circumstances.
Okay.
So for example, if you have a family, you're going to want to have life insurance to protect them financially if something happens to you. If you own a home, you're going to want to have homeowners insurance to protect your investment.
Okay.
So, it really depends on your own situation.
Got it.
But it's important to talk to a financial advisor
Okay.
or an insurance agent to make sure that you have the coverage that you need.
Okay. Good advice. So one thing that the article touches on, which I think is really important, is avoiding financial scams.
Oh, yeah, those are out there.
They are.
And they can be very convincing.
They are. So how do you protect yourself?
Well, I think the biggest thing is to be aware of the different types of scams that are out there.
Okay.
So do your research, read articles,
Yep.
watch videos,
Okay.
learn about the different ways that scammers try to trick people.
Okay.
And then if you're ever unsure about something, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Okay.
Talk to a financial advisor,
Yeah.
talk to a trusted friend or family member.
Yeah.
Get a second opinion.
Okay.
Don't just hand over your money to someone because they sound convincing.
Right. And I think a lot of times these scams prey on people's emotions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like greed.
Yeah.
Or fear.
Desperation.
Desperation.
They'll say, oh, this is your last chance.
Right.
You have to act now.
Right. Or you're going to miss out on this incredible opportunity.
Exactly.
But if something sounds too good to be true,
It probably is.
it probably is. Okay. So financial literacy is about more than just your own personal finances.
Right.
This article also talks about the importance of teaching financial literacy to the next generation.
Yeah, we need to start teaching our kids about money from a young age.
And why is that?
Well, because the sooner they learn about money, the better.
Okay.
They're going to be making financial decisions from a very young age.
Right.
Whether it's deciding how to spend their allowance, or whether to get a part-time job,
Right.
or whether to go to college.
Yep.
So it's important that they have the knowledge and skills to make informed decisions.
So how do you actually go about teaching financial literacy to kids?
Well, there are a lot of different ways.
Okay.
You can start by giving them an allowance and teaching them how to budget their money.
Okay.
You can talk to them about saving and investing. You can take them to the bank with you.
Okay.
You can even open up a savings account for them. So there are a lot of different ways to expose them to the world of finance.
And make it fun, too.
And make it fun.
Right. Because if it's just like a boring lecture, they're not going to pay attention.
Exactly.
Okay. So the last thing I want to touch on is the peace of mind that financial literacy can bring.
That is huge.
It is.
When you're financially literate, you feel more in control of your finances.
Okay.
You're not as stressed out about money.
Right.
You have a plan for the future.
Yeah.
And that can make a big difference in your overall well-being.
It can.
It's like this weight has been lifted off your shoulders.
Right, because money is one of the biggest stressors in people's lives.
It is.
So if you can get a handle on your finances, it can really reduce your stress levels.
It can free up your mental energy.
Right.
To focus on other things.
Exactly.
The things that are important to you.
Okay, so to kind of wrap things up, financial literacy is really about empowering yourself.
It is.
To take control of your finances.
Absolutely.
And build a secure future for yourself and your family.
And it's not something that happens overnight.
Right.
It takes time. It takes effort.
Yep.
It takes education.
Right.
But it's worth it.
It is. So what's the one piece of advice that you would give to our listeners who are just starting out on their financial literacy journey?
Just start. That's the hardest part.
It is.
People get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
They think, oh, it's too complicated.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start.
Right.
But just pick one thing.
Okay.
Start budgeting. Or start paying down your debt. Yeah. Or start saving for retirement.
Okay.
Just pick one thing and focus on that.
Okay, so take it one step at a time.
One step at a time.
And before you know it, you'll be well on your way to financial literacy.
Exactly.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your expertise.
It was my pleasure.
And for you listeners out there, we hope this episode has inspired you to learn more about financial literacy and start taking control of your finances. Let us know what you thought of this deep dive in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel for more financial tips.